Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X. And unfortunately, not Ish for today. He is a little busy with hosting his own Thanksgiving. So, shout out to my boy Ish. We'll let him, of course, have his Thanksgiving day off. I will be the one, of course, taking a hold of the show for today. We only have a couple of games to talk about on this Thanksgiving slate. We will get right into them after, of course, the intro that we do here on X Talking Ish. As always, if you are on Facebook, please go ahead and hit that like and share button. If you are on our Facebook page, please go ahead and hit that like button as well. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button so you can be subscribed to X Talking Ish. And as well, go ahead and hit that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future. Ding! Thank you for that, Ish. And as well, if you are on Twitter, go ahead and check us out at X Talking Ish on Periscope and as well on my personal page at X underscore Williams 81. Alrighty then. Like I said before, we are here to preview the Thanksgiving Day slate games. We will be back, of course, on Sunday to preview the rest of the Sunday games and Monday Night Football game as well. And then we'll be back, of course, on Tuesday to recap everything. Of course, Thanksgiving is a football tradition. It is a American tradition. It is tradition for all and for all. If you are a Lions fan, then you know that this is tradition for you as well. The Lions, as an organization, has been doing this since the 1920s. They have been playing football on Thanksgiving since the 1920s, and I don't know about you guys. I'm honestly tired of it. I'm sick of it. I know Lions fans are okay with being able to be on Thanksgiving Day to watch their team lose. If that's what they want to do every Thanksgiving, hey, that is on them. But to watch the Lions do this year in and year out, it's sick at this point. At this point in time, it is a cruel joke. I don't know why you want to continue to watch this team suffer on Thanksgiving, but hey, that is y'all. Um, I will say this though, for the fan base to always be behind the Detroit Lions, good or bad, I will say that besides it being a great fan base and a great culture of people, at the end of the day, it's a cult. It's a cult. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what it is. There's no way that you should be able to be a Lions, a Browns, a Texan fan for generation after generation. Watch these teams lose, and y'all continue to say, "I'm gonna support them no matter what." At the end of the day, it's a cult. I don't care what anybody say. I'm gonna put it right out here on Front Street on Thanksgiving Day. It's a cult. So, with that being said, before we even get into the game, I just want to go ahead and bring up what I'm talking about in regards of this being a cult. And I thought this meme would work very appropriately with today's game. And as y'all see, this is what Lions fans will be looking like um, over the next 3 hours of this game, starting at 11:30 Central Time. Lions fans are ready to be hurt once again. But hey, like I said, they've been doing this since the 20s. Those championships in the 50s. Apparently, they hold big weight um, for the Lions and their organization. But it's 2020. It's 2022, guys. Like, we gotta do some other traditions out here. We can't just keep doing the same old just because it's tradition. We got to move on. And shout out to my boy Dominique Powell. He says, of course, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir, and of course your family and everybody else that's out there tuning in. So let's go ahead and get back to this Bills Lions game. Just put it out on Front Street. Ish and I, of course, on the same page in regards of who's going to win this game. Both of us have the Bills. Now, I will say shout out to the Lions though for being able to pick up a nice upset win last week against the G-Men. They are now currently the Lions are now currently on a 3-game win streak. I know that sounds weird, right? 3-game win streak coming into the Thanksgiving game, and for this Lions team, and Ish and I, we talk about this a lot on this show. we don't necessarily think the Lions are bad. I think this is the first year in a very, very long time that the Lions usually are just bad without any good players. Does that make sense? Maybe like one or two these type of good players on the team. This year they have a decent amount of players that are really good. I think the coaching is good, and there's some coaches that are kind of right. There's still some judgment to be based on them in regards of their performance as a coach. But overall, I mean, it seems as though that everybody from the players, the coaches, and also even the organization itself like playing that underdog role. They like being counted out. They like being gritty, as one of their mantras over the off season is about grit. Um, you have to respect this team because if you don't, you come in there and say, "Oh, it's the same old Lions." They will beat you, and I don't think the Bills are going to come in to this game and say, "Oh, this is just the same old Lions. We don't have to worry about them." I think that the Bills will take this game seriously. That's why they are. Besides them being a 9.5 point favorite, I think they will not just cover the spread, but also win this game pretty handily to make sure that they are able to pull off back-to-back dubs in a week, and then also be able to have a nice extended break, get some guys back from rest. This is speaking of guys back from rest. This will be Tre'Davious White's first game back from injury as well too. So the Bills are getting healthy at the right time as well. For the Lions at the moment, they are 4-6. They won't be in the playoffs this year. I don't see them making a run this season. And it's not because they are a bad team. It's just they just put themselves too much in a hole right now. We're in the second half of the season, and if you lose this game, you're now down to 4-7 with 7 games left to go. I'm sorry, 6 games left to go. So it's just it's I would say this is a good stepping stone. This is a good stepping stone for the Lions to build off of moving forward to say, look what we can. This is the foundation, right? This is what they will lay out and say it shouldn't be no worse than this. We should never have any seasons where we only win 5, 6, 7 games, right? And if that's something that they can continue to keep building on, maybe they will become a free agent destination that people will say, I don't mind going to the Lions because I like their culture. I like what they're building. I want to be a part of that. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with the Lions moving forward. Overall, though, this should be the Bills' game to lose. The only reason why the Bills lose this game, honestly, is just due to the Bills just literally beating themselves. Beating themselves. That's the only way that the Bills lose this game. Just turnovers, penalties. Again, you name it, just the silly self-inflicting wounds. That's the only way the Bills lose this game. Dominic Powell says Lions could be on the way up. In a year or two, you got Williams about to come on the board, maybe draft a franchise QB, and they could be on their way. But yeah, today is blowout city. Yes, I mean I definitely agree, and I did love the pick at the time for Jameson Williams. I just hated that he was coming off of an injury, and he was of course not going to be helping the Lions at week 1. But you bring Williams back in. It's a midway point of the season. I don't expect him to be productive his first week or two back coming from the injury, and then also just being in the NFL. It's not college anymore, right, for him. So I expect them to get him some reps, get him just acclimated to playing in the NFL, and then hopefully next year will be his rookie, quote unquote, breakout season. And if the Lions can get Williams and Amon-Ra Brown, I mean, then you have your 1-2, right? And then, like Dominique says, if you can get you a franchise quarterback, because reality is Jared Goff is their bridge quarterback for them. So if they can find somebody that can come in there and can hopefully change everything for them, hey, you got something brewing over there in Detroit. So again, we'll see what happens with that. But for today, like Dominique Powell says, it's blowout city. So we'll go ahead and move on to Dallas and the G-Men, the New York Giants, coming to Dallas, Texas, to take on the Dallas Cowboys for the first time since 1992. These teams will be facing off on Thanksgiving Day. This is an interesting matchup because before the season started, I know we look ahead of the schedule and we see certain matchups, certain Sunday night games, Monday night football games, and Thursday slates. Who's going to be playing who in November, December. Before the season starts, and we look at these schedule release, we look at certain things. And for this Thanksgiving matchup, I'm pretty sure most people assumed and thought, hey, the Cowboys, they should be good. The Cowboys should be good around the Thanksgiving time frame to where we expect it to be an okay game. Not too many people expected the Giants to be where they're at right now, to where this game has turned from an okay game to a okay, let's go ahead and check this game out a little more, because this game is really important when it comes to playoff implications. I know a lot of people are already writing the Cowboys into the NFC Conference Championship game or even the Super Bowl with the performance that they put out on Sunday against the Vikings, who have only lost one game this season. But that one game doesn't necessarily solidify you not just making the playoffs, but winning the division and even going to the Super Bowl, right? So if you lose this game to a divisional foe, now you're down 7-4. Now your record is now 7-4. The Giants are 8-3, and now all of a sudden you have to switch spots within the division. And moving forward, you can continue to keep slipping. Who knows? Again, we have to wait and see how everything plays out. But the Cowboys can continue slipping to where they could either be in the 6th or 7th spot in the wild card, maybe even not make the playoffs, period. I know it sounds crazy. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Cowboys will be in the playoffs. But I think this game is a lot more important than people are looking at it right now. Again, also for both teams, because for the Giants, they can continue to keep proving everybody wrong in regards of, hey, I showed y'all we can do this with Brian Daboll, and this isn't a fluke. They have lost, I feel as though, quality games. They lost games to Seattle. And again, even with that Detroit loss last week, it's a bad loss. Yes, it is a bad loss. But like I've talked about teams like the Lions this past season and the Falcons, some of these teams are just, they're not good teams, but they are going to find a way to battle with you and compete with you and maybe even pull off a win that you're not supposed to. And that's just what I saw with the Lions last week. That's why I picked them to beat the Giants. And even though Ish and I are picking the Cowboys to win this game, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Giants find a way to pull off the upset today. I talk about it all the time on XtalknIsh in regards of the Cowboys. Just in the past, and this season they have played a lot better at home, but in the past they just find ways to lose that Jerry world. And when you're playing at home, those are supposed to be the games that you're supposed to win, especially if you have a $4 billion stadium. That's the games you're supposed to win, Cowboys. And Ish and I do have the Cowboys winning this game, and they should win this game. But watch out for those sneaky Giants. If you're able to run the ball with Saquon, which got shut down last week by the Lions, and if you're able to not turn the ball over Danny Dimes, you have a chance. But the thing that I'm worried about for the Giants, if you had issues with the Lions defense last week, you think it's going to get better this week with the Cowboys defense? I mean, because Michael Parsons is going to be coming off that edge like a madman. And you're going to, of course, have to deal with everybody else on that defensive side of the ball too, to where if you don't play your cards right, New York Giants, it can get ugly real quick before this game even starts. I can see it right now in the first quarter. I can just see the Cowboys scoring twice on offensive possessions. I can see a pick six. I can see a scoop and score. And all of a sudden the game is 24-0 before the game even starts. I can see that happening. Yes, I really can. And then also I can see the Giants where they are running the ball, controlling the clock, keeping the Cowboys offense off the field, playing sound football, playing physical football, busting the Cowboys in the mouth that first half and making the Cowboys look at themselves in the locker room and say, whoa, what's going on? We're supposed to be winning this game. I can see that happening too. But of course, as I say all the time, that's why they play the game, baby. That's why they play the game. We do not play it on paper. And we'll just have to see how this game plays out. Yes, again, we have the Cowboys winning this game because they should. They should win this game. But it doesn't guarantee you that you're going to win the game. So with that being said, this to me, I feel like might be it should be the best game of the Thanksgiving slate. It should be, but it can get ugly real quick, and on both sides, I don't know what to tell y'all right now. Besides that, I'm picking the Cowboys to win the game. Right now, I don't know how it's gonna play out, but I just know that the Cowboys better find a way to win this game. Dominique Powell says, yeah, I think they going to be on that high from whipping the Vikings like they did, and it's going to be close. Yeah, I 1,000% agree. I feel like that game was false hope. I think it's false hope, and I think it's a false downer for the Vikings. Like that was just one game, and I've already talked about this too much already on the show from Tuesday when it comes to if I'm the Vikings and I am the Cowboys, you take that tape and we throw it away. We don't even look at that tape anymore on both sides of the ball because guess what? The Cowboys are not replicating that same shit against the Vikings. I promise you they're not. And the Vikings will not be unprepared as they were against the Cowboys ever again. That's just my opinion. I don't see it happening. And that's the reason why I said too, if they were to play against each other in the playoffs, I think things are going to look a lot different. But like Dominique Powell said, if you're the Cowboys and you're still going to ride off of what we did in Minnesota last week, you might be in for a rude awakening playing against the Giants on Thanksgiving Day. So as always, we'll see how this plays out and we'll go from there. Let's go ahead and get to the Patriots and the Vikings game. And as always, if y'all have tuned in to XtalknIsh, y'all know I talk very highly about my boy Captain Kirk, aka of course Kirk Cousins, and he kind of let me down a little bit last week. He kind of let me down, but it's okay. As always, it's 1 week. It's 1 week. A player's career does not get defined after 1 week or a couple of games or even one season. Well, it depends on who you are. But in this case, for the Vikings, I think that was it was a bad loss. It was a bad loss, but it's one of those losses where I would rather get blown out. And I know that sounds crazy. I'd rather get blown out than lose a game by a point or two. Those games hurt the worst. Because you always have to go back and go look at it and say, well, what if we did this? Well, what if we did that? You know, what are those one or two things that we would have been able to change that could have helped us win this game? Those are the games that hurt more than anything. But if you get blown out like the Vikings did last week against the Cowboys, you kind of just throw that away. Like, let it go. Who cares? Let's go ahead and move on because that's not us. And I think the Vikings have a good opportunity today to show not just themselves, but also show America once again, because you're on national television, to show that was not us, right? So if I am Kirk Cousins, you better go out there and go rely on Justin Jefferson, give the ball to Dalvin Cook, give it to your playmakers. You know, you don't have to go out there and go and be Captain Save-A-Ho. Go out there and go win your game and enjoy your turkey. You know, you're on the late night slate game, and after you're done, you know, I know you're gonna have. I know the Vikings gonna have them nice little pregame meal, pregame Thanksgiving. Then after your 7 o'clock game, you're gonna be done around 9:30, 10 o'clock ish. That's when you get that that last Thanksgiving, that last Thanksgiving meal before you go night night. They're gonna have them some nice dreams. And maybe knowing Kirk, he might be dreaming about a Super Bowl victory after eating some nice cornbread dressing. All right. Travis Crow says, happy Thanksgiving, my brothers. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the family as well. And Dominique Powell says, bounce back game for the Vikings. I definitely agree as well. Ish and I, as you can see, Ish wanted to copy me with these picks. He's picking all the teams that I'm picking, as Yeah, he wants to be like me. I understand he wants to be a winner, and that's what Ish wants to do. He wants to pick my picks. So for the time being, we do have the Vikings winning this game. Now, this game is the only game on the slate that's within a 3-point spread in Vegas. So Vegas expects this to be a closer game. I do expect this to be a close game. I think the Vikings cover the spread. I think the Patriots defense itself is going to surprise a lot of people if they don't watch the Patriots like that on a consistent basis. The Patriots defense is very good. The Patriots defense has Matthew Judon, who leads the NFL in sacks. Kirk Cousins is coming off of a career high of getting sacked 7 times in a game against the Cowboys. That's something that I think the Patriots want to win this game. That's something that the Patriots are going to have to do early and do often, which is get to the quarterback and put Kirk Cousins back into a shell shock type of, oh, is somebody by me that is not supposed to be by me, and that, of course, that ghost-like figure for the quarterback, and making him wanting to anticipate more than he's really anticipating. So if the Patriots are able to get him off of his spot and get him mentally rattled, the Patriots definitely can win this game. As long as they run the ball, and as long as if Ish was here, as long as Zappy is out there finding some way to play the game. I know Mac Jones will be starting, but as Ish say, if they want to win, you got to put Zappy in, and we'll see what happens with the Patriots, how bad it might get for that offense. Maybe we might see a Zappy sighting, but for the time being, we're going to go ahead and pick the Vikings, because this is a bounce back game for the Vikings. The Vikings have to show back up, because 8-2, not bad at all, of course. 8-3 is not bad at all either. And if I'm being honest, I don't expect the Packers to even contend with them for the division. I think the Packers are done with. I don't see them finding a way to beat the Vikings within that division. But for the Vikings, it's now about seeding in the NFC and maybe even still obtaining the number 1 seed to be able to have everything run through Minnesota. Because when it's end of December, early January, I think you'll rather be in a closed stadium in Minnesota rather than being outside in about 6 inches worth of snow in Philadelphia. I'm just saying, when you think about it like that, you have to think about it. So with that being said, I told y'all I was going to be short and sweet. I'm not going to hold y'all up for too long on Turkey Day. I hope y'all enjoy y'all's Thanksgiving. We will be back on Sunday to preview the rest of the Sunday slate for the NFL. As always, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to XtalknIsh. We will see y'all on Sunday. Enjoy y'all turkey. And as always, if y'all need us, y'all know where to find us. Right here on XtalknIsh. Thank you.